Right, moving on. Now, 4 days after the dastardly Pulwama attack, Indian forces eliminated the masterminds behind the blast that killed 40 CRPF personnel. In a joint operation, the forces blasted a terrorist shelter in Pulwama's Pinglan area, killing top Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists and key Pulwama conspirators Abdul Ghazi and Kamran Hilal. The house was located near the highway where the CRPF convoy was attacked on the 14th of February. 4 Indian Army personnel, including a major, were martyred in the encounter. A lieutenant colonel, a captain and 2 soldiers were also injured. All the martyred army men belonged to the 55 Rashtriya Rifles. A civilian was also killed in the gunfight, which began in the wee hours of Monday. The operation in the Pinglan area in Pulwama began after Indian Armed Forces, comprising the Army, CRPF and Jammu and Kashmir Police, launched a cordon and search operation after getting information about the presence of the terrorists in the area. The armed forces have expanded the search operations since. A cordon and search operation was launched in Pulwama's neighboring district of Shopian. Meanwhile, during his joint briefing with Argentine President Mauricio Macri, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the world needed to unite against terrorism.
मैं और राष्ट्रपति माक्री इस बात पर सहमत है कि आतंकवाद वैश्विक शांति और स्थिरता के लिए बहुत बड़ा गंभीर खतरा है। पुलवामा में हुआ क्रूर आतंकवादी हमला यह दिखाता है कि अब बातों का समय निकल चुका है। अब सारी दुनिया को आतंकवाद और उसके समर्थकों के विरुद्ध एकजुट होकर ठोस कदम उठाने की आवश्यकता है। आतंकवादियों और उसके मानवता विरोधी समर्थकों के खिलाफ कार्यवाही से हिचकना भी आतंकवाद को बढ़ावा देना ही है। G20 देशों के तौर पर यह भी महत्वपूर्ण है कि हम आतंकवाद का मुकाबला करने पर हैम्बर्ग लीडर स्टेटमेंट के 11 सूत्री एजेंडा को कार्यान्वित करें।
Earlier in the day, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said that the morale of the forces was high.
हमारे सेना और सुरक्षा के जवानों का मनोबल इस समय ऊंचा है और आप देख रहे हैं कि वह आतंकवादियों को न्यूट्रलाइज करने में कामयाबी हासिल कर रहे हैं।
All right, I'm now joined by General Ved Prakash Malik, a former chief of the Indian Army. General Malik, thank you for joining us on WION Dispatch. Now, earlier this afternoon, we were told that the Indian forces have eliminated the masterminds of the Pulwama attack, the 2 terrorists belonging to the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Some would say these are just deserts for the terrorists. But is that the end of the road insofar as Pulwama is concerned, or what happens next? Does India continue to put diplomatic, political pressure on Pakistan, or also possibly explore other kinetic options? General Malik?
You know, firstly, I wouldn't call these 2 people, Ghazi and Kamran, to be the mastermind. Frankly speaking, the mastermind lives in Pakistan. And he is controlled by the ISI, which is really speaking part of Pakistan Army. And this has been a proxy war which has been going on for more than 30 years. Yes, we will be able to avenge the death of our 44 soldiers and even some who have died this morning today. At the moment, but I don't think we can call that to be the end of our kinetic action or any other action. I believe this is a proxy war which has been going on for a long time, and if you want to put a stop to it, then we have to adopt a long-term strategy, more comprehensive, which includes political, diplomatic, military, economic, in fact all aspects. And I think we should now continue with a long-term strategy, define it properly, and we should take the whole nation with us, including all the opposition parties, in And we should oppose this solidly as a nation, with no divisions in our politics or in our ethnic societies or in our other societies. It has to be taken up as a war issue now.
General Malik, over the last 5 days, we've heard from several analysts, former generals, who have spoken about imposing costs on the perpetrators of terrorism and their handlers inside Pakistan, and words such as strategy, doctrine, tactic, serious rethink have been said in the last 4 or 5 days. If I were to ask you, General Malik, what did India do wrong all these years or decades, and what kind of changes do you propose going forward in order to accomplish the goal or the aim of imposing costs on the perpetrators?
I think primarily the fault lies in not following a consistent policy. We have been varying our policy towards Pakistan and even inside Kashmir. And we have not kept the national security issue before our political ideologies within the country. This kind of a war, proxy war or a hybrid war, it requires a consistent long-term policy to be coordinated with all the institutions of the nations. I think the primary fault has been that we have not followed a consistent policy over last so many years.
Also, General Malik, very quickly, we've spoken about the domestic dimension of the crisis at hand. What about the external dimension? Specifically talking about some countries in our neighborhood, especially China. What do you make of China's position or reluctance to call Pakistan's bluff on the issue of terrorism? Now, we've heard of this phrase that India is prepared for a two-front war, but this instance, metaphorically, is again a two-front war. Why? Because China seems to be reluctant to put pressure or to lean on Pakistan or to allow India's motion to designate Masood as a terrorist pass in the UN. So what do you make of this situation obtaining in our neighborhood, especially regards to Pakistan and China?
There is no doubt that today Pakistan and China, they have strategic alliance. But as far as terrorism aspect is concerned, I don't think they are together. And this is one area which we should be exploiting, and we declare this to be a war against terrorism. I have no doubt that China will also understand. At the moment, we all know that China has been supporting Pakistan on Masood Azhar in the United Nations. But that pressure we have to keep on China and all other nations, through the nations, in the United Nations and elsewhere, so that Chinese also understand. Because I believe personally that this is a threat not only to India, this kind of terrorism can be a threat to China also. In any case, China is already suffering this kind of threat within their own area from the Uyghur community and those who are supporting Uyghur terrorism.
But why is India seen to be diffident when it comes to China? We've spoken about a one China policy all these years. Now we seem to have been indicating that we no longer pursue that policy. Tibet is an outstanding issue, so is Taiwan, so is Xinjiang. So my question to you, General, is why does India seem to be different when it comes to tackling the problem head-on and on its own, without having to seek help from external friends or powers, so to speak?
A good question. But frankly, India wants to avoid a two-front war. And that is the reason, even though we have so many issues under our own which are important and where we can play, but because we do not want to have a two-front war in future, and that is why we have been also following the policy of appeasement to China. But as I said earlier, that this particular issue of terrorism, this it requires a greater thrust in our dialogue with China and also with the international community. Even if China doesn't want to listen to us, I think it will have to listen to the United Nations and other international nations.
And finally, General Malik, very quickly, I want you to take a step back and reflect on India's policy towards Pakistan and its other neighbors. Now, India sees itself as among the oldest victims of terrorism, dating back to the insurgency and terrorism that raised its head in the late 80s in Jammu and Kashmir at the behest and aided and abetted by Pakistan. This was long before the 2001 attacks in New York. Again, India mooted the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism in the UN in 1996, again before the attacks in New York. Then we had the Mumbai attacks in 2008, Pathankot, Uri in 2016, and now Pulwama in 2019. Has India and the Indian policymakers not learned their lesson? Should we as a nation, as a government, as an army, as a polity get our act together?
You know, Pakistan has been following this policy even before we partitioned it from East Pakistan. Before East Pakistan, before Bangladesh came about, even then they were following this policy of supporting our terror groups, insurgency groups in the northeast. So it's been going on for a very long time. And you are right that probably we are the worst victims of their terrorism in this region. We have to understand that Pakistan wants to destabilize us. That has been a consistent policy of Pakistan and Pakistan Army. In fact, that is one reason why Pakistan Army will not give it up, making us as an enemy. And they will continue to, because that gives them the status, that gives them the position that they have, political and economic, in Pakistan. So I think we have failed in our long-term policies as far as Pakistan is concerned. We should have realized all along that Pakistan is not going to change its policy, and I don't foresee it changing the policy. And therefore, there is a requirement for us also to follow a consistent, long-term, comprehensive policy when we are dealing with Pakistan.
All right. On that note, General VP Malik, thank you for joining us on WION Dispatch. Appreciate it. As you heard there, General Malik saying India needs to devise and formulate a comprehensive policy, a strategy to deal with the crisis at hand.